Okay, so I was having a discussion with my buddies from up north about traditional and blocking and striking, but going to like basically blocks. How do you properly block in traditional martial arts, and why they don't work anymore? So I'm just going to show you basically the fundamental tricks to getting, karate, taekwondo, any of these styles to work. And let's just go like this, okay? When you think of a block should actually be a strike to an oncoming limb. Blocks, whenever the strike is hit, it never retracts. So basically, if I was to throw, say, a backhand strike like this, like you almost go backwards or hammer fist, if I was just going to hit a guy, I would smash it and bring it back. But when you're using that to block, you smash it and you hold still. Basically, you want to stick to the target. So if someone throws a punch, you don't just hit it, you smash it and then you leave it there so you stick. Now, think of a block as two striking points. Basically, you have the fist end and the elbow end. So if someone throws a kick and you throw the same block, you're going to hit the kick with the tip of the elbow and try to break it. Or you hit soft target or hard target with the hammer fist. You leave the hand vertical in alignment because it's becomes a shield. So for instance, someone's throwing a roundhouse kick, I go to hit it but I miss, I have the whole shield up. Okay, so completely shielding. The power comes from aligning the humerus and the femur. So when you see a lot of these traditional stances, there'll be an alignment. So this bone and this bone are the same. I can get this so you actually can see my legs. That'd be better. So, for instance, you see in karate, for instance, you see this. You want to have this angle and this angle the same so that the humerus and the femur all lined up. Obviously, neutral spine, so the energy transfers down. When you're doing an inside forearm block, outside forearm block, for instance, the idea is that this and this are similar angles, and the striking surface is always congruent to the femur, so that when the thing hits, the impact goes through humerus, through the spine, and connects to the femur. So anything, as above, so below. Anything happens up here, happens down here. So they can be used two different ways. One is that you leave it in position and you run into the frame. The other one is that you intercept them and you hit them with the frame. So how do you so to get speed in this? First, you have to have, we went this last time, the intent, which is to smash and destroy things. So anything that's coming at me, I'm not going to just like parry it. It's a waste of time, right? If I can touch it, I can smash it. So, for instance, person goes and picks his hands up. I'm not going to just block the punch and parry it. I'm going to take these knuckles, I'll take these knuckles, I'm going to smash his hand as it comes in. Right? I want to hit him. So it's never, we don't do passive blocking, we do active blocking, which is really a strike. So, for instance, I teach boxing also. I teach boxing, I teach boxing like I would teach boxing in the gym. But when I teach traditional martial arts, I teach how it was taught to me, which is break everything. So everything is break everything. So incidentally, when someone throws a punch, he throws a punch to the body, I catch it with the elbow. If he throws a punch to the head, I'm not going to just parry the punch. I'm going to try to hit the punch, try to hit him in the hand. Because I want him to feel pain every single time he touches my body. So every single time that person gets near me and tries to make contact with my body, he feels a pain response. Okay? He feels a sharp or dull thudding object that he's running into. So it's always if I can't disable him from contact, I deter him from contact because he hits something that's solid. He's like, I don't want to do that again. Many times you'll see in a lot of like sparring matches, where when you're training with your friend, you learn this because you wind up getting hit yourself, get all these little knots and nasty crap all over you, and you say, okay, well these are my friends, I'm not going to hit him with that. So you start to do soft blocks. But in reality, you always know that the opportunity is to hit him with the elbow, hit him with the. Okay, so let's go. How would you practice these blocks to get these like traditional speed, like get the power. So, for instance, like you see all these like wiggling blocks, and you go to karate schools and the hands are all crooked. You got to make sure that owner's geometry is king, timing is queen. So when you do the block, you want to make sure there's a vertical alignment or horizontal alignment, that there is a relative alignment from the humerus to the femur. For instance, a pseudo or a knife hand block. If you look, there is a relative alignment that is equal and opposite to the femur. That's how you get your power. So, you know, moving in free sparring, I'd have to be able to get to that position as a natural occurrence. People go, well, people don't do it because they don't train like that. But we do it, okay? And then if you watch videos pre-1990, you see all the old school martial arts guys do it. I don't know what happened, but you're just not training. So, a cool exercise you can do after you obviously have fixed your alignments, okay? Whether your style does to the middle or we go to the shoulder line. So in our system, we always block to the shoulder girdle, block the shoulder girdles. So same as in I do karate or Tai Chi, it's the same thing. If I do an inside forearm block in Taekwondo or karate, and I do it in Tai Chi, which is every time I do ward off, I end in this outside forearm block before I go to carry the ball. The alignment for that one instance is still the same, because you still have to have the relative position from the humerus to femur. Basically, your big muscle bicep to your big muscle quadricep, okay? But it's the bone we're working about. So how do we get that snap power? An interesting thing happens when you throw your hand, okay? So what I want you to do is just swing your arm across like this, okay? And then when you want to stop, turn your wrist. So you do the other way, okay? Go the other way. And whenever you want to stop, turn your wrist. And that rotation from turning the wrist causes this loop, and it locks your arm into position. So when you get that, and then learn to be able to get that rotational snap with the torque of your hip into an alignment, you get this winding. It's almost like a backwards explosion. It feels like it's imploding on itself. It's the only way I can explain it. So the energy is not really outward. It's like wherever it hits, it kind of like it implodes. It's like it's a weird. You have to just feel it, and you'll see what I mean. So it's not just pushing, it's not just snapping, it's connecting to the frame, getting that alignment, and then everything at once. So when you get this turn and then that rotation on the top, this dead weight throw with this snapping rotation gets, and you get this full body, almost an implosion on the contact point. And when you add that to hitting somebody in the radial nerve or getting somebody on the inside of the shin, okay, from not this side of the shin, but this side of the shin, I guarantee you they're not gonna have a happy day. And I don't care how much conditioning they're doing. You get somebody at that off angle, and it always just hurts. it just hurts. It's just the way the body works. It's never a good thing. I mean, maybe there's some crazy Macau guy kicking trees that maybe he's not gonna feel that corner angle, but for the rest of us normal humans, even who've trained a lot, hitting somebody in those points, it's not a good thing. You can just tap yourself right in that spot with a knife hand or with a forearm and see what that feels like. Or the back of the knuckles, another good one. Just try tapping the back of your knuckles. Unless you practiced iron palm to dead this, I don't care who you are. Someone's boxing and then you take these knuckles and you punch them in the back of the hand, they feel it. They feel it. And maybe all the adrenaline, it's not gonna have the same effect as somebody who's at a normal standstill and you pop them like that. But I guarantee you, it's gonna shock them because nobody expects it. So, I don't want to waste too much time explaining to you guys how you should practice your style, but correcting your style would be obviously making these alignments symmetrical. No tilts, no leans, okay? The bottom and the top are mirror images, or there's a balance in between, and you're always trying to get force from this bone through your spine to this bone, okay? You block with your humerus and your femur. You don't block with your hands, okay? Even when I hit with my hand, this hand is only transferring energy to this bone so that it can reverberate down to this bone, okay? So that's something that's really difficult for people to really get. All right, so practice your lines, okay? Practice your line, okay? Then practice speed and torque, okay? Then practice dropping the body weight with the speed and torque. So that your entire body weight rolls into that little space, a very short. Now, obviously, when you're doing classical form, you're not going to fight like that. The same way as if you're playing tennis and you went ahead and make a perfect tennis swing, but then the ball's flying 100 miles an hour, you don't make that humongous swing, you just step out and you trap it. Okay? It's the same concept. You learn the big frame movements so that in reality, you just go there. You just go. Okay? So, one exercise that I always teach is 5 gate blocks, which is basically just simple. Your overhead block first. Okay? Outside forearm block, another outside forearm block, another outside forearm block, and another outside forearm block. Okay? Trying to get one shoulder as vertical as you can. Okay? One shoulder as vertical as you can. From right here, one shoulder and one shoulder. Okay? This is really just to teach you how to get the hip and the snap of the wrist and the rotation. It's about the feeling. You actually apply this from a fighting position, you just go, okay? The one thing you have to worry about is a proper overhead block. In order for an overhead block to really work, this space in between your wrist, there's a little dent here. You can put your finger in, okay? Between the 2 tendons. That should be right between the third eye. Your eyebrows. You want to have basically an equilateral triangle so that the elbow is at your eyebrow. This is at your eyebrow. The reason, and then you'll notice that this has a slight outward turn. The reason for that is because no one's coming straight from the ceiling, they're coming forward towards you. So just, okay? Again, I'm not blocking with my muscles and my arm. All this extra crap is just to add power to this bone moving into the space, into the alignment. Blocks are catches, okay? Someone wants to stab at you, you don't chop at it. You catch it like a baseball and you frame, okay? When you connect to something, obviously, anybody that punches you is going to try to retract the object, which is why, if you've watched my other videos, we say stay connected, move forward, stay connected. So if I'm able to block and someone hits me, stabs, whatever it is, once I touch this frame stays there and I follow him in. So I take up that space and then I go in. So the idea is that on that exchange, my master says, cut me here, no sweat, kill him. And because you gotta understand something, like anytime you're in a street fight or a situation where it's for real, you don't know what somebody has in their hands. You always treat every single thing as it's sharp. Everything's a sharp. I don't care if it's a kick. The guy can have boots with little fucking pieces of glass on. You can actually have little blades in the tip. Like, you never know, okay? He could have boots that have like metal tips on them and they'll cut you. You know what I mean? You can have steel-toe boots. Anything that can cut you or do a maceration, I consider it a sharp. So we treat it like that. Once I make contact, I already assume that I'm cut, so I sacrifice this limb and go in to do damage. Okay? If you try to throw a block and you bring it back, I mean, I'm sure there's 1,000 videos explaining why that's stupid. But again, when he goes for the frame, when whole body drops in, torque and rotate and spiral that energy back into the contact point. So everything rolls back and then you get stuck. So he gets stuck on that frame, and then as soon as you make that contact, as he's retracting, you go in advance. Okay?